Hi everyone and welcome to English for You. I'm Kat.
I'm Mike.
And Mike was late today.
I'm late today. I'm really sorry, but I have a super good excuse.
Do ya?
Yes, I was at the herb shop buying some new herbs for my cooking, and I ran out of time.
Oh.
I ran out of time, and time is also a kind of herb.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
It's spelt different, but it sounds the same.
Yes,
I ran out of time at the herb store.
Very good. I guess the herb store ran out of time to give you time.
Exactly. There was no time at the herb store, so I'll have to go back another time. Oh, we could just keep going with this forever.
Man, you could just keep going with a time pun forever.
Absolutely. Now, you guys might be a little confused. You know, why are you saying the same word and how is this funny? Well, actually, time is a word that we spell and use in different ways, but it has the same sound. And when you make a joke, kind of using the other idea of the word, but it still sounds the same, it can be funny.
Yeah, and that's
it's not super funny if you explain it a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're going to be explaining
jokes, which isn't really funny, but we're just trying to get you to understand how you would make your own jokes like this.
Yeah, and so what we're exploring today are puns.
Puns, that's what we're talking about. Which are these kinds
of jokes. So let's get into it, and we'll try to keep it at least a little bit funny.
Okay.
Reading.
Have fun with a pun. The creative way to improve your English. What did you have for breakfast this morning? I had some toast with an egg. After all, a boiled egg is hard to beat. Though the thought of some nice bacon was really baking me crazy. I know what you're thinking. That was egg-cellent. No? Okay, then the yoke's on you. Seriously, it means either my puns were terrible or you don't yet know about puns. If the latter applies to you, don't worry. Just keep reading to learn all about this silly but wonderful part of language. First, what are puns and why do we use them? A pun is a creative play on words that makes fun use of a word's meaning or the way it sounds. Puns can be used both in speech and in writing. They are used to add humor. Beware that a bad pun, like the examples above, is more likely to make the audience groan than laugh. But get it right and people will see that your English is great, and that you're really funny too.
All right, our article starts off with a very good question. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
That is a good question, but I don't see how it relates to making puns or these word jokes, but okay, I'll play along. I'll answer your question. What did I have for breakfast this morning? Well, according to the article, I had some toast with an egg. After all, a boiled egg is hard to beat.
Yes, it is.
A boiled egg is hard. It's hard to beat, and it's hard to beat. It's a fantastic breakfast. It's hard to beat.
Yeah, hard to beat is like, number one, but also hard to beat.
You can't beat a boiled egg, right?
Yeah.
It's already hard.
Exactly.
That's another
Though,
yes.
The thought of some nice bacon was really baking me crazy.
It was baking you crazy?
It was baking me crazy.
It was baking you mad.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't making you crazy. It was baking you crazy because you're talking about bacon.
Yes,
and I will have to respond to you by reading the next sentence of the article. Here we go again. Are you ready?
Ready.
I know what you're thinking. That was excellent.
An
excellent breakfast full of eggs. That was an excellent omelet you made for me. Actually, those aren't bad. I'll give those 6 or 7 out of 10.
Wow, you're very generous. I would have given them a 3.
They're okay. Come on, they're not bad. It's early in the morning too.
Yeah, that's true. We're also thinking of breakfast, and we think we know what you're thinking, right? What I'm thinking is that we have a grammar point.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go do that. That's not a pun.
So we just said we know what you're thinking. But does that mean we're asking a question? We know what you're thinking. What are you thinking? But instead, this what does not mean a question. This what is a word that stands in for the thing that. So we know the thing that you're thinking. We know what you're thinking. We know what your thoughts are. So we could say it this way. Like if you had a sentence like, the thing that is different about this new phone is it has a better camera. You could also say, what is different about this new phone is it has a better camera. So instead of saying 3 words, you cut it down to 1. Another example, Zach finally told his family the thing that made him want to quit his job. You hear that? The thing that made him. So we can change it into, Zach finally told his family what made him want to quit his job. And there you go. That's how you can cut down a sentence by using what instead of the thing that.
So there you go. Did you think that was an excellent pun, an excellent word joke I played? No?
No.
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 Okay.
Well, the article says no, because I think it read my mind. I think that it knows that I don't really think this is a great pun.
It wasn't excellent?
It wasn't that excellent or excellent.
Okay.
No? Okay. Then the yoke's on you.
The yoke's on you. Oh boy, that one actually, that hurt. That one hurt. That joke
It hurt right in your heart, huh?
actually hurt my body. Yes.
Ouch. Yep. So yeah, if you're confused now, we need to tell you what yoke means. This is still about eggs.
Yeah.
You know what a joke is when you say
joke's on you, yeah.
the joke's on you. It means that you're the one that the joke's about, and
Right.
you are not getting the funny part.
Right.
But if you say the yoke's on you, a yolk is the yellow part of an egg.
It is, and it also kind of sounds like the word joke.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
So if you say the yolk's on you, then maybe there's some yolk on your head.
Yeah, or it's just a good
dripping on your
pun when we're
face.
trying to say the joke's on you, but it's of course talking about eggs. Yeah, it's the yellow part of an egg. That's all
Yeah.
the yolk is.
And you can, cook it up to be solid and hard like a hard-boiled egg. You can fry it up to be nice and soft. For example, what I like my eggs soft-boiled so that the yolk is still liquid inside.
Ooh, oh yeah, that's nice.
When you break it open in some ramen and it gets in the soup.
Ooh, that's good too. Absolutely. You get some eggs on your noodles there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, back to the article. Seriously, I think we're going to stop now, all right?
Yeah, let's stop making some bad puns.
No more puns. We're going to talk more about the idea of puns, but we'll save you guys more pain.
Yeah.
Seriously, it means either my puns were terrible or you don't yet know about puns. Yes, well, some puns
Maybe
are really
it's
good.
both.
It could be both. Some puns are terrible. They can still be funny, but they're the kind of joke you might go, oh, and so on. I think in Chinese there's the term cold joke.
Yeah,
It's kind of a cold joke or something like that. Or sometimes it says, as it says there, you don't yet know about puns. Yeah,
That's
it could be a
right.
whole new idea. It's a new kind of comedy, a new kind of joke for you.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe in Chinese you don't like to make puns. I think people do make
people
puns in
do,
Chinese.
yeah.
It's really easy because many words sound almost the same.
Right.
Yeah. But in English, it's not quite as easy because words sound different a lot of the time.
True.
But anyway, if you don't yet know about puns, the article says, if the latter applies to you, don't worry.
Absolutely.
So we have this word latter, not later, it's latter with 2 T's. Let's learn what it means.
So you guys will remember from that last sentence, we kind of gave you 2 choices or 2 options. The first one was either the puns are terrible, and then the second choice was, or you don't understand puns. You don't know how to make them, that kind of thing. So when we have a sentence where we're giving you 2 things, or we're listing 2 things, maybe 2 choices, or just there's an A thing and then there's a B thing, we can refer to those things later on as the former, that would be the A thing, the first one, or the latter. This is a really quick and easy way to sort of answer a question. If someone says, would you like A or B? Instead of saying, I would like A, you could say, I would like the former, the first one. And the second one would be, yes, the latter. That's the second one. Kind of like the later one, the one that came after or towards the end. For example, I could make a sentence like this, giving a person a question and then, some options, and then giving them a little bit of information about the second one. I could cook pasta or burgers tonight. The latter will take less time to finish. Of course, since I said pasta or burgers, the latter, that would be the burgers. And we also had that word apply. Something will apply to you. If something applies to you, it's basically saying it affects you, or it is true to you, or it is relevant to you. It's something that you would have to sort of take part in, or something that would cause some change in your life. If it doesn't apply, you can forget about it. You can ignore it. It has nothing to do with you. It won't change or affect your life in any way. But if it does apply, then it will. For example, the new rule about workplace clothing applies to everyone, so please dress nicely. Basically, everyone who works here must follow these new rules. They apply to everyone. Kind of like wearing masks these days, right? Wearing the rule about wearing masks on the MRT or the bus. It applies to everyone. It doesn't matter if you're the president of the country or the youngest person on the train. It will apply to you.
That's right. And so what applies here could be the idea that you don't know what a pun is.
Right.
So if that's the case, just keep reading to learn all about this silly but wonderful part of language. I agree this is a wonderful part of language. Even if our puns were kind of bad, there are some really great puns that just make you bust up laughing.
For sure.
And they're all silly. So something silly, I guess you could say it's not important, it's not serious, it's not practical. But in this case, when you're talking about something silly, you're just talking about something that's kind of fun in a childish way.
Exactly.
Funny in a way that kids would like.
It's definitely not serious in any way.
Yeah, so for an example, little Heather likes to do a silly dance when she's feeling excited about something.
Oh, okay. So it's just her way of showing her joy. She's not telling you, I'm the greatest dancer in the world and I will win a contest. No, this is just a silly dance. Exactly. Little kids also like to make silly noises or things like that for entertainment. All right, well, let's get back to the article and more about silly puns. First, it asks a question. What are puns and why do we use them? Okay, so we've given you a few examples of them, but exactly what are they and why do we use them? Well, then it says a pun is a creative play on words using the sound of the word and also the different meaning. That's what we mean by a play on words. It's a creative play on words that makes fun use of a word's meaning or the way it sounds. Now, to make use of something is basically just to use something, maybe to get an advantage or maybe just to make your life a little bit easier. If your legs are tired, you can make use of the elevator instead of climbing the stairs. It's there to use. Go ahead, use it, make use of it.
That's right. So you can make use of puns to be silly. You can make use of them for a bunch of different things. And here are a few. Puns can be used both in speech, that's talking, and in writing. They are used to add humor.
Fun. Laughs.
Woohoo!
Exactly.
So humor, as you can probably tell, is something with comedic content. That means something that is funny, something that will make people laugh, something that will make them feel happy, something that will make them, feel like something is not quite so serious.
Okay.
So, you might use humor, especially when things are feeling a little too serious. Like if you're having a serious conversation about something, if you make a joke, make everybody laugh a little bit, it's kind of a relief. That's why they call it comic relief.
For sure.
Okay, so an example of that, some scary movies use humor to make the audience feel less nervous and laugh a little.
It's true. Sometimes right after a scary part where everyone's gone crazy with fear, they'll throw in a little joke or use a little humor to make everyone relax a little bit. Now, back to the article. It says, beware that a bad pun, like the examples above, remember the ones all about the eggs and the yolk and all that stuff, so the bad pun, like the examples above, is more likely to make the audience groan than laugh. That's kind of what I was doing when I said, oh, that joke was so bad it hurt. When you groan, you kind of, you make a sound like that. Maybe you are in pain, maybe you did get hurt, or maybe someone made one of those cold jokes, that kind of joke that you want to laugh at, but you also feel, oh, this is not a very super good joke, but I can't stop laughing. So beware that sometimes your pun might not be the funniest thing and people might actually sound like you have hurt them by going, oh, what a terrible pun.
Yeah, sometimes they're acting and sometimes they really do hate it.
For sure. Or sometimes they think it's funny, but they don't want to laugh too much.
Because it's embarrassing.
Because it is also kind of terrible too. Yeah, beware. When we use this term beware, when we tell someone to beware, that's be aware. Be careful, in other words. We're probably telling you about something dangerous that might happen or something bad that might happen. If you pay attention, hopefully it won't, but we're kind of bringing your attention to the fact that you should pay attention. Beware, something could happen if you don't take care.
Ooh. So beware that your audience might not like your puns so much.
Not as much as some other jokes.
Who is your audience and why are they groaning?
What
is groaning?
Good question.
I think we should find out. So we said that a bad pun is more likely to make your audience groan than laugh. Like we said, it can make them act like, oh, you're hurting me. If you say something is more likely or you're more likely to do something, that means the first thing is probably going to happen. So if the audience is more likely to groan than to laugh, that means probably they're not going to laugh at your joke, they're going to groan. So first we need to learn what your audience is, especially if you're making jokes, you want to know who they are. So knowing that they are who, you know that it's people. An audience is the people who are watching a performance or something like that. In your case, maybe you're just talking with some friends, but if you're telling a joke, it's kind of like a performance. If you're giving a pun and you want them to respond in some way, they're still the audience for, even just a little second of performance. So an audience is the people you are performing for. Usually we will use this word as either a singular or plural. So you can have one big audience, or you can have several audiences, like if you're on a concert tour, something like that. So here's an example. The audience were shocked when a live horse suddenly walked onto the stage. This is another way you can use audience. You can use it as a singular, plural kind of thing. You can say the members of the audience were shocked. Now, what about groaning? When we've talked about groaning, we said that it's kind of painful. So groaning, we did a lot of in the beginning here. We went, oh, that's a really bad joke. So groaning is complaining, or it's speaking unhappily, or it's making this sound. Oh, that's a groan. You could also hear a moan. A moan is something kind of like being in actual pain, like, oh, my stomach. That's more like a moan than a groan. So a groan is usually you're annoyed. A moan is you're in pain or you're sad. Those are the difference. So audiences are moaning and groaning because you're told a bad joke.
It's true, puns are not for everyone, or maybe your pun just isn't quite as good as it could be. But, as the article says, to encourage us to continue to make bad jokes,
to make good jokes.
Get it right. You got to practice, but get it right, and people will see that your English is great and that you're really funny too. I guess that's kind of why we like puns, right?
That's
because
true.
They make jokes which make you laugh. And they're a little clever. You need to be able to understand the different sounds and the meanings of the word. So I think maybe that's why we like them, but maybe also don't like them. Maybe partly it's like, oh, I should have thought of that. That was a funny joke, but I didn't think of that one.
Maybe it's kind of like, a certain kind of food where if you get the average one, it's like, it's not that great. But when you get a really good one, it's just, mwah. All right, and that's when you get it right. When you get something right, that means you use something correctly, or you do it the way you plan to do it. So like, let's say that you're trying to remember somebody's name, or you're meeting somebody for the first time and you're not quite sure how to say their name. You're reading it, but you are like, oh, what if I say it wrong? Is your name Mike or is it Mike?
Okay, or how to spell my name. Sometimes people don't get that right.
Oh, that's right. So if I'm meeting you for the first time and I say, your name is Mike. Did I get your name right?
You got it right. You got it right.
I got it right.
There were many ways you could have made a little mistake somewhere if you didn't pay attention, but you did, And congratulations, you hit the perfect answer. You got it right.
You
and
got
of course,
the jackpot.
If we say someone gets a pun right, that means basically they make a good pun. They make a funny joke, and they also make a joke that's a little bit clever and is using words in kind of a surprising and, of course, funny way. All right, so we've given you a basics on puns so far. We'll have more about different types of puns tomorrow. I didn't know there were so many types of puns.
I didn't either.
Learn about that, but for today, that's all of our article, and we do have a chat question, though, to talk to you guys about before we go, so come back for that.
For You Chat.
All right, our chat question for today. I think we might have a little too much to say about this, but
okay.
Have you ever seen any other puns in English?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Can you remember what they were?
Well, actually, when I think of a person who was kind of famous for their puns, I don't know if you remember this guy. He was a chef, and
Is his name Gallagher?
No, he was a chef, and he used to teach Chinese cooking on TV.
Okay.
And he always had, an apron, like a cook wears it to cover their clothes. And he always used a wok, right? That big frying pan that we use to do Chinese-style cooking.
Yeah.
That's called a wok. And it always had a pun using the word wok. So it would say like wok star, or walk a mile with me, like walk a mile.
I thought that walk and walk would be...
He was a walk star. He had another one that said volcanic walk, like volcanic rocks. So I always thought, and every time I was a kid and I would watch this, and I wouldn't watch it. I'm a kid. I'm not watching to learn how to cook Chinese food. I'm watching to see the pun that he would have on his apron. So it was really good. So, it would make me say something like, well, my Italian food is okay. I cook Italian food pretty well, but I still need to walk on my Chinese cooking. I have to work on it.
It sounds like you're an impasta at Italian cooking too.
An impasta at Italian, an imposter, or of course noodles, pasta. Oh, terrible.
One I thought of earlier when we were talking about groaning was, would you like some cheese with that wine? Because whining is another way of groaning. It's like,
I don't like your joke.
But if you want cheese and wine, that's another pun. And we say that a lot when people are complaining too much.
I see. Oh, that's right. Your friends, my teacher hates me. I had all this trouble, blah, blah, blah.
You want some cheese with that wine?
Or you want some cheese with your wine. There you go. So many options that you can think of, and many others that you probably can't think of now, but hopefully will in the future when it comes to your career making puns. And we're going to have more information all about this form of humor tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll see you for more puns in day 2.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye.
Vocabulary Review. Yolk. Tim usually fries his eggs because he likes liquid yolks. Latter. Would you like to go to the Indian or Italian restaurant? The latter is a bit more expensive. Apply. The school's new rules about uniforms only apply to students in lower grades. Silly. Ryan kept giving silly answers, so his teacher told him to be serious. Humor. This show is dark and scary sometimes, but it also uses humor to make things seem less serious. Audience. The audience loved the band's music, and everyone cheered as they left the stage.
智慧小补帖
Beware. Groan.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net